Welcome back, everybody, to the Real Estate Solutions Lab, where we tackle real estate problems, and we provide solutions to those problems in a creative way. We often bring on guests that help us answer questions about certain subjects, and today we're tackling a subject that I think would be near and dear to the heart of anybody that's been involved with a homeowners association, owned a condominium before. And we have an expert here. I've been trying to get this guy on this podcast for a long time. Dan from Castle Property Management is our guest today. He has been in the business for over 10 years now, and he really knows his way around solving condominium type association problems, and he owns a management company. So Castle Property Management, veteran owned, and it has been solving association problems, handling crises, I wrote down, helping people. We're going to talk about finances as well. So there's a big component of property management is handling the finances or helping guide the finances of an association. I know I was the president of my and the treasurer of my homeowners association, where we have a bunch of single family homes, and that was quite an experience to learn what the heck a 6D was and how to get that taken care of. But anything from handling emergency repairs, monthly reporting, keeping common areas clean, Castle Property Management handles it all. So Dan, thank you for helping us uncover some answers to questions that commonly may come up as either a potential buyer of an association condominium or perhaps somebody that already owns one, and maybe they just don't understand what's going on in the association. So welcome to the lab today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely.
This should be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. And thank you again. I would love for you to at least start with telling us a little bit about Castle Property Management. Why the heck did you get into this business? Because it's a hard business.
Yes, that's hard business. That's an understatement.
Yeah.
All right. So my name is Dan Vieira. Just thank you for the great introduction.
Yeah.
So we are a veteran-owned and operated company. Was a former Marine from 1997 to 2001. Seemed like many moons ago.
Yes, it is.
I originally started my property management tenure at a company in Woburn, where they did more of the higher commercial properties, like the Simon Malls, State Streets, and Boston buildings and whatnot. So an example of that would be if you ever go to the Burlington Mall during Christmas time and you see Santa's Village in the middle of the mall, that was the company that would set up set it up and all the decorations around the malls, et cetera, et cetera. So the reason why I departed there was it was definitely not on bad terms. Right. It was because all I wanted to do was something as simple as change a light bulb, and because there's so much red tape there, because Simon's Mall, right? Everybody has an assistant has an assistant to an assistant or director of something. So by the time that I get to actually somebody to say, hey, can I change this light bulb? I could have done 20,000 of them. So it was like, we all think that we can do better. I'm just tired of all the red tape. And I say, you know what? I can branch off of my own and tweaked it a little bit. I've had enough of the whole, high-end commercial Simon Mall things and State Streets and all those Boston buildings. So we shifted a little bit more towards HOAs and condominiums, and that's where we've been flourishing.
So tell me, what exactly does a condo association management company do? Because you're mostly focused on condominium associations, right?
Correct.
Right now?
Yep.
So tell us, what do you actually do as a manager?
So the same exact thing that you would do living in your house. Yeah. Except I do it at a much larger scale.
Okay.
So you have to mow your lawn, you have to shovel your driveway, you have to pay your property taxes, you have to pay your home insurance. If something breaks in your house, you need to call a plumber. You got to make sure that you're there, or at least a friend is there or a family member is there, let the plumber in. You got to pay the plumber after he's done. So
manage finances.
Make it, obviously the house runs on a budget, right?
Yeah.
So every single thing that everybody does in a home, except at a much larger scale. That's the easiest, that's as purest form as I can describe it.
And because it's a group of owners and not one person that owns it, there's a board and a group of trustees, I guess you'd call them, right?
Yep. So they have voted in to represent the entire association, the community. Because if, as you can imagine, if there's a community of 100 units, 100 owners, that's 100 different opinions of the way things should get done. So that gets smushed down and narrowed down to a board of 3 people, 5 people, and that's a lot easier to deal with.
Well, who selects the condo property
The community
manager?
does. So every now and then their board expires, or their membership expires, their position rather.
Right.
So it all depends on when they get in. All depends on what the condo docs say. Some say there's one term for 1 year, another term for 2 years, another term for 3 years, so that they overlap, so that there isn't a brand new board in there, all at once, all the time, not knowing what to do. So so when the position becomes available prior to expiring, we put out notices to everyone. Hey, come join the party. Who wants to be a board member? Throw your name in the hat, and then we collect all the names. And then during the owners' meeting, they take a vote. But there's typically not a whole lot of interest.
Who decides then to hire you or your company, Castle?
So the trustees
that represent
board the association. Correct. So ultimately, I work for the association, but technically the board.
Got it. And so my friends that are listening to this are either homeowners today or they're potentially considering buying into a condominium. And so they might have questions like, what does the association management company have to do with me as I potentially go and purchase in there? What is it a new potential homeowner might be needing to know about the management company, or what are they going to see when they get in there from the management company?
A management company can make or break an association. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
So what typically ends up happening is being a trustee, it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
It's volunteer.
Yeah.
You don't get paid.
Yep.
There's actually a lot of work and some time that you need to commit to being a trustee. Yeah. And there's more associations than not that the trustees are very hands-off, which is unfortunate. Which means that the effect of that is the management company tends to take the ball and run with it, and they can drive an association down to the ground, or they can make it flourish.
Wow.
That's basically it. I mean, I've taken over associations where...
Yeah, give us an example.
Where we've had trustees that had no idea what was going on because there was zero communication between their former property management company and the trustees, to the point where they refinanced the loan 3 times without even telling anyone. So it was insane.
Yeah.
So it's some of the things that the unit owners need to be aware of for the property management company is that they want to make sure that they're on the ball. You want to make sure that they're active in their association.
How would they tell?
They can tell just by the upkeep of the community. So if they walk into the building and it's filthy, if it's standalone units, if they walk in and it doesn't look like nothing's been landscaped for months, or that it's August and the fall cleanup hasn't been done yet. Just appearance. I mean, it's all curb appeal. It's all appearance. It's not welcoming. That's the very first thing that you do when you first go into a community, whether you're a guest or you're a homeowner or you live there, is you want to feel welcomed. You want it to be welcoming. You don't want trash everywhere. You don't want, just mattresses leaning up against the dumpster and furniture everywhere. I mean, that just screams, just run away.
Run away. Yeah. Or potentially they're buying into this and they become a member of the board and they start making changes and improvements.
And that's why I tell all these owners, I said, you have some great opinions. I agree with those opinions. You should become a board member. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, no, I don't have time for that. It's like, okay, so you're just going to sit here and complain to me about what you want to have happen, but you're not willing to put forth the effort to actually have the power to make it happen.
Right. So tell me about a real life example where you went in and took over, a property management role at on a board.
Oh my Lord. There was one association that they were about $58,000 in the hole. They had $900 in their reserve account, and the reason why it was that expensive, they had that much money or owed that much money, is because the property management company decided not to pay the water bill. So it just accumulated over time. And then now all of a sudden I took over and it was like, surprise, here's this $58,000 water bill that's owed. And it was not good.
Yeah.
I must say I appreciate that community so much because we sat down, we had an owners meeting when I took over, and I said, listen, this is what the story is. This is what we have to work with. Everybody needs to be on board, and they have. We're slowly turning that place around to the point where the 3 separate buildings. We did a 3-year assessment we're siding each building.
Okay.
We've done some work there. We're actually tweaking the water situation where each unit owner is going to be individually metered instead of the association paying for water.
Wow.
Because that was a huge cost. Now we can free up some of that money to pay for other things, upkeep, start dumping money into the reserve if need be. But I cannot, as a property management company, succeed and do the things that I am doing there without the ability of having the owners on board and saying, hey, listen, this is what we have to do. We get it. It's going to stink for a little bit. I know we need to dump some money, but at the end of the day, they're going to turn around and they're going to say, we turn this place around. It looks great. It's going to take time and money. And that's what I told them in the beginning. I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's going to take time and money.
Yeah. So you've been able to step in and solve problems that were caused by some prior situation. What other kind of problems, if you're a homeowner of a condominium already, what are things you could see happening in an association as an owner that the condo management company really plays a big role in coming in and solving? Like I can hear that you sort of are someone that brings people together to have conversations and get it out on the table. What kind of problems, would a homeowner see happening?
Leaks.
Leaks? Like water leaks?
Dreaded leaks. That's what it is.
Or roof leaks, you mean?
All of the above.
Okay.
It's when you're in one building and you have units stacked upon each other, especially older buildings, it's inevitable you're going to catch a leak.
Okay.
And then it's how fast you can respond to that leak, how fast you can repair the leak, and then it's not just repairing the leak, it's making either the wall, the ceiling, the carpet, whatever it was that got damaged, is making that whole also. Yeah. So the faster you can do that, the faster that the owner is going to feel better.
Yeah.
And it's just that's always the challenge.
Yep.
Leaks.
Yep.
Every time it rains heavily.
It's just
I said,
you get the calls.
No, yeah.
Your
but
phone starts ringing.
Knock on wood, we've been doing well. So.
Before buying a condominium, a home buyer might be, they might be more interested in where the condominium physically is located, how the development looks on the outside, sort of the outside aesthetics of it, where the unit is in the building. But what else should they be looking at? What else can they do to see if they're buying into a good community? Obviously, they can see that the grounds are well taken care of, but is there anything else they can look at that can help them understand if it's a good place?
Absolutely. The number one thing, talk to the community.
Okay.
Literally roll up there.
Like a knock on doors?
Wait. Okay. And knock on a door. Wait till you see someone out in the parking lot or coming out of the driveway and say, hey, introduce yourself. My name's Dan Vieira. I'm thinking of buying unit so-and-so. Can you tell me a little bit about the community?
Okay.
That is the easiest way to gauge a community. 100%. I can't voice that.
So ask 3 or 4 people.
Ask someone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even the guy that's living there. Well, they have a vested interest in getting out of the place. So they're selling it. Right. So you don't want to ask the seller.
Right. Yeah,
perhaps.
He's going to make everything sound great.
What else can they look at? I know lenders will look at all these financial documents. They'll look at bylaws, and they'll look at insurance documents. They'll look at the trust, the master deed. What can a homeowner look at?
So there's condo surveys that have to be filled out and that basically just states what's in the reserve. Are there any upcoming assessments? Are there any ongoing assessments? Are there any structural deficiencies with the building, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
So that's a very good document to take a look at because it has to be obviously answered honestly.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that's going to be raising a red flag, you'll probably see it there.
Okay.
For example, if there's an ongoing assessment.
So tell us what an assessment is.
So an assessment is, for example, let's just say you have a community with 20 units. So there's 20 owners, 20 units. And it spans over 2 buildings, so 10 units in each building. Mm-hmm. And both roofs were done at the same exact time 50 years ago. Now it's time for a new roof. Roofs are not cheap.
Yeah.
So an assessment would be like, hey, listen, obviously the operating account can't sustain purchasing a new roof for 2 buildings. The reserve account we're not supposed to touch because it's for the reserve account. So we're going to sit there and we're going to assess basically another way of collecting money other than the condo fees for each unit. So then you would take the price of the roof, you would divide it amongst 20 individuals, and then that's what they owe on top of their condo fees. So normally, because that's a high ticket item, you would normally have anywhere between like 9 months to a year to pay for it. So we would schedule that out where it's not too much of a.
You mean they'll finance the repair?
The financing portion of
Okay.
it. Meaning like, so if you're a unit owner and saying, hey, Tony, I got some bad news, we need a new roof. So you're being assessed $6,000 on top of your monthly condo fees, but we're going to give you 11 months to come up with those $6,000.
Okay.
It's less of a burden on each unit owner.
Yeah. So if they see special assessments currently ongoing and potentially deferred maintenance, potentially that, or would they see something a planned special assessment, like one that's going to be coming?
One that's going to become.
Like if they know that the roof is 50 years old, it hasn't been replaced, leaked a couple of times, that's maybe a planned. Hey, we got to start building up a fund for this, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really taken a minute to examine that questionnaire. Like, we're going to get a copy of the questionnaire. Can anybody call the association and get a copy of the questionnaire?
Oh, it wouldn't be the association. It would be through the buying agent. The buying agent would then send it to mortgage.
Okay,
the
so
underwriter.
they'll just go through the real estate agents and get it, or the current owner might have a copy of it as an owner of the association.
No, that would just be the buying agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is usually included in homeowners' dues? Like, what should people expect that is being covered for someone who's buying a condo they don't really know all the time?
Yeah. So just like what your maintenance on your home, if you did not live in a condo, there's upkeep. Like, for example, I had my HVAC system looked at in preventative maintenance yesterday.
Okay.
Which is not. I should have been an HVAC technician. I missed my calling in life. Because I tell you what, they're expensive. But that's just stuff that you have to do. I mean, you have to maintain your house at preventative maintenance. So what those fees go forth is some preventative maintenance, repairs, and then there's your fixed costs. If you have a dumpster, it's for trash pickup, your massive policy insurance, your umbrella insurance, your workers' comp insurance, your directors and boards insurance. Then you have a cleaner if there's one. For the building, if it's a building, you need a cleaner.
Common areas.
Because the common areas.
Right.
Oh God, geez, what else?
Taxes.
It would be filing for the taxes at the end of the year. I mean, it's everything under the sun. It's everything.
And the management fee.
And clearly the management fee. And
very important.
It's extremely important. It's what makes the association run on a daily basis. Like electricity. Gas if there's gas in the building. It's just like I said, just the usual bills that you get at your house. Just larger.
I own a condominium. I don't. But I'm pretending I'm a homeowner. I own a condominium, and I see problems here and there. As I look around the development, things that I would change if I own the property, like the common area. Who decides what gets fixed and how fast, and what's the order of importance typically?
It depends. If it's something that needs to be repaired versus something that's an upgrade. If it's something that's repaired, obviously it has to get repaired. You notify the board. Hey, listen, we have a hole in the drywall or whatever the case is, or a piece of torn rug. That's going to be repaired. We bring someone in, they repair that, as opposed to an upgrade that's different because it's not a necessity, it's more of a perk. So that takes a little bit longer to convince because obviously the funds are allocated towards repairs, which is obviously more important. But it's like painting a hallway, getting different flooring for a hallway, painting the doors, the framing, just freshening it up. I would love to do that every single one of my condominiums. Trust me, believe you me. But it takes money. And some condominiums are more apt to spend their money than others. I have some condominiums that as long as their condo fees don't go up, they could care less if the walls are falling in and the roof is falling in.
Right.
We have other I have other condominiums that sit there and say, oh, there's a blade of grass that's a little bit higher, that's 2 inches higher than the rest of the blades of grass. Call the landscaper out here. I don't care how much it's going to cost. Have them trim that back down so everything looks even, and everything in between. Okay. So we get a whole gambit.
Yeah. So let's turn our focus to the real estate professionals out there, because I work with a lot of them, and as a lender, certainly I'm interfacing with management companies all the time, trying to get documents or information from them to answer questions from them, because the board isn't answering any questions, of course, and that's why they hire the management company. You talk a lot about communication. I hear you talking about bringing people together and solving problems and being proactive. What does that look like in a good association company? Because I've experienced associations where, we got a closing coming up in 30 days and we just can't get answers for anything. They fill out a questionnaire. They refuse to answer some questions. Other questions they may be dealing with, like, what should it look like for a real estate professional trying to get answers for their seller, perhaps, or for the buyer that's trying to buy that unit? What is a good associations practice?
Well, the way that I look at it is, if I'm not proactive in answering any of the underwriters or the mortgage brokers' questions with the condo survey, or even any other questions that they have regarding the sale, I'm holding up the sale. Yeah, you are. That's on me. Yeah, I'm not going to let that happen. Right. We're starting off on a really bad foot with the new owner if I'm holdling up their sale. That's true. One of your bosses. Yeah. I do not. That's not even a thought. I don't do that, and it's just mind-boggling how some companies can get away with that and just continue to do it. I don't understand how or why they do it, but it's a reflection on me and my company if I hold up a unit owner sale. And like I said, they're going to move in and they're going to have right off the bat a really bad taste in their mouth about me. It's not going to happen. So do you get involved with trying to solve some of the financial problems that come around with insurance? Because we have a lot of condominium insurance problems right now coming up in our industry, the real estate and lending industries, because we're trying to close on real estate transactions, and associations have been voting in higher and higher, or searching for insurance, number one, trying to get reinsured. If they've had too many claims, they get dropped, and they go out and they find an insurance policy. Finally, we got one, but they want us to have a $30,000 deductible per unit owner. And innocently, they say, well, great, that's the only thing we can get, so we're going to get it. Or we're trying to save money, let's raise the deductible, get a cheaper policy for the unit owners that live there now. But then when a lender comes in and tries to do a mortgage for a new home buyer, we run into a problem with that, because it's greater than 5% of the building coverage, and that, per conventional conforming guidelines, is a no-no. So there's this disconnect that's happening because rising costs in insurance, higher claims, aging buildings, all of these things, the deferred maintenance that haven't been taken care of, and now we're seeing an insurance problem that's happening across the country. It's widespread, and have you been involved with trying to solve that problem at all? Because I know you're not dealing with the insurance, but you have to go try to get something done, right? To answer your question, yes and no. So when it comes to insurance, I tread very lightly. Yeah. Because some documents dictate what the insurance has to be for the association, which is great because it gets it off of my hands. Yeah. If it doesn't dictate, and then you rely on the insurance agent, and there are insurance companies out there like Assured Partners who they deal with condos all the time, so they know what the standard is for insurance. So they pretty much know what's needed and what to offer. Yeah. So to answer your question, do I deal with them and do I shop around? Yes, I have shopped around. Yeah. But do the owners come to you? Carefully. No. Because just like everything else in life, everything gets more expensive. Yeah. So every single year, the dumpster fees go up, insurance goes up, electricity goes up, everything goes up. Yeah. So, but insurance tends to go up a lot. Yeah. So when I notify the trustees, say, hey, listen, the insurance went up X amount of dollars for the next fiscal year, just to let you know, they say, well, maybe we should start shopping around. I say, all right, well, I'll shop around, but no promises on what we can find, if anything. Yeah, we've had a heck of a time
we've had some solutions. One solution we've found is if the insurance company will, because they didn't mean to violate Fannie Mae guidelines. They just everybody's trying to get insurance.
Sure.
But it's happening. And one of the things some creative insurance agents have done is actually Lucia Insurance did this. They said we can, the carrier said that we can put a cap on the deductible at 5%, because we didn't mean to go over 5% of the building coverage. It's just the building coverage got more expensive because it's more expensive to fix a building.
Right.
So now the deductible being a certain percentage over 5%, needs to be capped. And they said, fine, we'll cap it at 5%. So they put a little rider in the insurance binder that says anytime the deductible goes over 5%, we're going to cap it there. The unit owner is not responsible for over 5% deductible, and that solved the problem several times.
Sounds like an easy fix.
It is an easy fix. Well, you'd think it was an easy fix, and that is. I guess that's one thing we just have to get out there, the message that there's agents that out there, insurance agents that are creative, that are trying to solve problems. Others are just selling policies. I suppose that's like condo management companies just out there just trying to get a buck versus really trying to, solve and make people feel good about owning the condominium. What other things does Castle do that you feel is different from other associations out there? Because we talk a lot about communication, obviously, but what other things do you guys do that seems to win you contracts with these associations?
As strange as it is to say, we just care.
Yeah.
It's wild.
What does that look like?
What does it look like is going into an association, just talking to people.
Yeah.
It's we do monthly walkthroughs. So when I'm in an association, sometimes I'll do the monthly walkthrough and I'll just hang out at the building. If there's nobody there, I'll wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Someone's eventually going to pop their head out,
okay,
and just have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
So they see you there,
do they
and
then what are you asking them? Like,
are they happy? Hey, how are things going? Everything going good? And then I'm on a first name basis with a lot of them, and to the point where I get to know their children. Hey, how's Susie doing in school, or how does she do with that project, or how's the new driver doing? I heard she just got her new license. It becomes a personal relationship.
Yeah.
Which is what our goal is. Yeah. It's more than just managing a property. It's basically managing your home, and everyone wants to feel comfortable and welcome into their own home. Yeah. So we're not shy about putting ourselves out there and having conversations with people. We've had multiple barbecues at associations where we'll pitch a tent. I'll bring the grill over, throw some tables up, and I'll be Chef Dan for a couple hours. And just trying to get people together and just having. And you'll be amazed of how many people say, "Oh, geez, I known that John Smith has lived in that unit. Yeah. I haven't seen him in 5 years, and now he's out here,
Nice.
Now it's wild that they live in the same community, but they don't necessarily see each other like all the time. It
sounds like a personal touch really makes a difference.
It has to.
If someone was considering replacing their condo management company, what is the ideal association size that you're comfortable managing, or that you've managed that you think is good for having that personal touch still? We
have from 4 units to 100 units. Wow. And everything in between. Okay. It's the personal touch doesn't go away just because you have more associations or more units.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the trick.
Yeah, it is.
And that's unfortunately the fallout of some of these bigger management companies is they get too big for their breaches. Yeah. And then that personal touch is no longer personal touch. Right. It's the, hey, we'll get to you when we can.
It's hard to maintain that.
It's very hard to maintain that. But,
it takes a lot.
But when you care and you have invested interests, it's easier.
Yeah. Well, good to hear. Good to hear. Real estate agents are a driving force in condo sales today, and obviously there's still a very tight market out there. What can real estate agents count on you for? Like, Dan, you manage associations. They might bump into you. Do you ever get calls, or can real estate agents call you and ask you questions to kind of figure out, like, what should I be experiencing here? I'm not hearing from the association.
I get questions all the time. One of them, we're selling this unit. There's an air conditioner condenser out there. There's 3 of them. Do you know which one belongs to our unit?
Awesome.
I've gotten referred management opportunities for other condominiums due to the realtors that I've worked with in the past.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because they sat there and they were like, and I'm not tooting my own horn, trust me, I'm not. This is, but they sit there and they'd be like, you were the fastest, most, fastest turnaround for a condo survey in a 6D form, and you've answered all my questions, and you've just made it so seamless and easy. Nobody ever does this. This is incredible, And then all of a sudden, I'll get a call from a board from a condominium association a week later saying, realtor so-and-so, she ended up referring to saying that you were great to work with, we're interested in you, want to get some information about you. It's not hard.
It's not hard.
It's not. It just
do a good job.
It takes about 3 minutes to answer their questions.
Yeah.
And if you actually know the property, and if you have a vested interest in the property, and you've been at the property, and you just care, you'll know what the answer is. Because all you gotta do is just, it's in your memory. Oh I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's the third one from the left. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's that doorway, heading down, it's a fourth door on your right. It's not hard.
Awesome. Well, great. I'm going to tell all my friends in real estate to give you a call when they do have questions. How can people get a hold of you? Or what is the best way do they go to your website, or do they just call you? What's the best way? Even though I'm 46 years old, I'm still an old guy at heart. I still don't mind a phone call. I mean, nothing drives me more crazy than calling a company, and then you get that automated person. It's like, let me just talk to a human. So they're more than glad to call me. Absolutely, I'll be more than glad to talk to anyone. Okay.
It's 978-625-2266. That's my direct line. If you want to shoot me an email, it's Dan@Castle Prop, P-R-O-P, management, all spelled out, .com. And my website is www.castleprop, P-R-O-P, management.com.
Awesome,
but
man.
you can
We'll
definitely
put all that in there.
You can definitely give me a phone call. I'll be more than glad to have a conversation with you, and you'd be more than glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, I can see why you're so successful. So I'm really happy that you finally came on my show to answer some questions about condominiums. People have a lot of questions about them. It's not easy to understand what all the financials and how the darn condo association works, or why my fees are going up. So I think having someone that's well communicated and answers questions is helpful for sure. So anybody looking to change out their management company, I think they'll do well working with you guys. So thank you for coming today.
Absolutely. Of course. It was a pleasure. It was fun.
All right. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tony.
That's all for this week, folks. If you do have any questions, please reach out to Dan. As I said, he'll answer his phone. He'll answer your questions as quick as he can. I appreciate everybody. Have a great week. And until next time on the Real Estate Solutions Lab, that's all for now. Thanks.